Hey you guys, Phoebe here from Little Grey Box with Matt behind the camera. Are you planning a trip to New Zealand this winter? Home to stunning mountains, beautiful coastline, great food, and lovely locals, New Zealand is the perfect destination for your next winter adventure. Here are a few things we think you really need to know before you go. New Zealand is located around 2,000 kilometers east of Australia. It comprises two main land masses, the North and South Islands. The capital city is Wellington, and it's home to a population of around 4.7 million people. One really important thing to keep in mind is you absolutely will need travel insurance, you guys. And if you are planning on visiting any of those snowfields like we like to do, you're going to want to make sure that your travel insurance specifically covers you for any days on the snow. If you think that's a little far-fetched, think again. Laker fractured 3 of his ribs on our recent trip, you guys, so it can happen even just by accident. Even just a simple fall on the snowfields could result in an injury, so make sure you are appropriately covered, and if you don't have the right insurance, get it. Now, public transport in the major cities is fantastic. If you're in spots like Wellington or Auckland, you can definitely use the public transport systems to get around. But if you are thinking about traveling long distances, you're going to probably need to hire a vehicle. If you are particularly interested in snow, a 4-wheel drive might be your best bet. We were trying to visit a ski field once, and there had been so much snow dumped overnight that 2-wheel drives weren't permitted up. The bus was booked solid and we couldn't get up the mountain. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're visiting in peak snow season. Snow chains are a fantastic investment. It gives you peace of mind when you're driving around, especially in those wintry conditions where there's lots of snow being dumped. And in certain situations, they must be fitted. Be prepared, know how to put them on, and make sure you've got them with you. If you are thinking about buying your alcohol from the supermarket, just beware you will need your passport to do so, not your driver's license. One other thing, guys, is that you can't buy hard liquor from the supermarket. So if you do want a bottle of whiskey, for example, you're going to need to go to a designated bottle shop. Now, most of your accommodation spots in New Zealand are going to have some kind of laundry service. And that's because they're quite aware that we all go up to the snowfields, we come back, we're all mushy and stinky, and we need to get our clothes clean. So pack lighter, only pack those outfits you'll know you'll really wear, and rely on those accommodation washing facilities to get your clothes clean for the next time you need them. In some small towns, you might randomly hear like an air alert kind of siren going off. Matt and I heard it. We panicked. We thought there was about to be an earthquake. We didn't know what to do. It's just a way to notify volunteers in the village that there is some kind of emergency, be it a fire or something similar. While you should be alert if you hear it, there's no need to be alarmed. It doesn't mean the apocalypse is starting and you need to arm yourself with a bat and something to kill zombies with. I want to go to the beach in Australia. I've got to think, are there crocodiles in this area? Are there sharks? Are there sea snakes? Yeah, those are a thing. In New Zealand, that's not a thing you have to worry about. No bears, no sharks, no significant predators, just your fellow humans. Make sure if you are driving in New Zealand, you guys, that you understand the road rules and you are really, really careful, especially in winter. Black ice is a real thing and it's very, very dangerous if you aren't used to those driving conditions. My advice would be that you find some other YouTube videos that are dedicated to road driving tips while you're in New Zealand so you know what to expect. If you're doing a road trip and you're thinking about your drive times, make sure you allow a little bit of extra time everywhere you go, because New Zealand is stunning. The landscape is beautiful. The Southern Alps are incredible. There are so many spots that you're going to want to stop and take photos. We made a really silly rookie mistake. We had glass bottles full of water. We were there in the dead of winter. We left them in the car overnight. We woke up the next morning. There was this lump of frozen water with jagged bits of glass sticking out of it everywhere. It was horrifying and an absolute nightmare to try and clean up. So you don't want to be leaving your electronics like your laptops and your cameras in that really cold car overnight, you guys. Things can and will break. You're going to come across single lane bridges, you guys, and you need to know how to tackle them. So you will see on the sign next to the bridge a big black arrow pointing in one direction and a small red arrow pointing in the other, and that will indicate whether or not you have right of way. If you are going in the direction that the small red arrow is facing, you are required to give way. If you're unsure, ask your car rental company so that you know what the road rules are and you know how to handle it when you see it. Customs in New Zealand are no joke. So when you arrive, as you're on the plane, they will hand out the customs forms for you to fill out, and it is incredibly important that you answer them honestly and that you don't try to bring anything into the country that you shouldn't. That is specifically around things like food, any wood items, any dirty clothes, shoes with mud or anything like that in them. Answer your forms correctly, declare if you're unsure, and ask questions. Be sure to try and make friends with the locals, ask for local food tips, ask for their recommendations on things you should see and do, and you might just make a new friend in the process. As you're planning your budget and thinking about how much you might spend while you're in New Zealand, one thing to keep in mind is that fuel is quite expensive, you guys. So just factor that in and allow enough money in your budget. In our experience, the Wi-Fi in New Zealand isn't always easily accessible, and it isn't the best Wi-Fi we've ever had. So if you do run your business online like Matt and I do, and you feel that you need access to good quality Wi-Fi, just be prepared that it might be a little bit patchy and a little bit hard to come by. The people of New Zealand are really environmentally conscious, and it's important that you respect that as a visitor. Don't leave any rubbish behind, don't litter, and I always think it's a good idea if you do see rubbish just to pick it up and put it in the bin and be the change you want to see in the world. When you're packing for your New Zealand winter trip, we always encourage you to pack on the light side, but I would recommend making sure that you have some really good quality winter gear, especially a good pair of thermal underwear. You want to make sure that you've got a pair of shoes that are going to hold up to the snow when it melts, so something waterproof or water resistant, and something that the wind can't just rip through. I've worn my Converse high tops a few times. They aren't appropriate. They're way too cold. But something like my Doc Marten boots or my Salomon sneakers, which are water resistant, they are much better suited. And I always find 2 pairs of shoes is more than enough. Now, English is the official language in New Zealand, but Maori is also widely spoken. There are a few local, colloquial slang phrases that you're going to need to learn. Jandals, those are your flip-flops. Your chili bin, that's your esky or your cooler. They have some other really great phrases you'll hear a lot, like sweet as. That just means like cool, yep, that's good. Churbro, I really like that one. That's thank you, like thanks man, thanks bro, thanks a lot, player. No, that not the player bit. Kumara is sweet potato, and you'll hear the term kiwi a lot, and there are 3 different kiwis: the people, the bird, the fruit. So make sure you're using the right kiwi in the right way. And of course, it's really important that you are respectful of the Maori people and the local Maori culture. If you get the opportunity, you should absolutely do some activities that allow you to experience it. I did an amazing experience where you go to a cultural performance and there's some traditional dancing. There is an incredible haka which just rips through your soul, and it's followed by a hangi, which is a traditional meal of the Maori people, and it was awesome. Such a great experience. But make sure you're being a good person and a good traveler, and you are respecting the local indigenous culture. Alright you guys, that is it from us. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Now if you don't already, be sure to subscribe and say kia ora in the comments below. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Love ya!